Hi, we're Jen and Chris Corsi. And this week we want to talk to you a little bit more about Jesus' gifts because he has a lot of them for us, but we might not be recognizing all of them necessarily.
God enjoys giving good gifts. That is just a good, beautiful reflection of God's values, God's heart, God's generosity. He is generous. The problem is when we're focused on what bothers us, what hurts us, what stresses us out, we miss those gifts. I know that I do. Anytime I slip into non-relational mode, I know that I walk by many of his gifts. I ignore, I dismiss, I just miss it.
Yeah, I know that when I'm in non-relational mode and I'm grumping at the kids to get through their routine and to get through their schoolwork, I am missing the gift of the extra time with them at home. I'm missing the gift of the extra opportunities to interact with them. And I am. And when my relational circuits are on, when I'm in relational mode, I notice such a difference when I interact with them, that I enjoy it, that I'm glad that they're there versus a problem to be managed or something like that. It makes such a difference.
And the goal here is just to be pleasantly surprised. Like, we might have a pretty good idea of what some of the gifts are that God's given us, but you know what? When you enter this kind of mutual mind state with Jesus, you're going to be pleasantly surprised and probably enjoy a lot of good peace from interacting with Immanuel. So what I would suggest you do is first find your relational seat. Think about the things that make you smile. Remember the moments where you felt like God was with you. We like to do that for 3 to 5 minutes. Just wakes up your master circuit and it helps basically prime your brain. And then what we want to do is just invite Immanuel. Lord, you know what? Is there something that you've given me that you would like me to notice today? So we would just invite Immanuel. Lord, what would you like me to notice? Is there anything you want my focus on or you would like to draw my attention to today? So then we interact with Immanuel. We just notice what thoughts come up. And then we can talk to him about those thoughts. We can thank him for those gifts. And the goal is always not only to feel the good stuff, but to share the good stuff. So then you can share with your family or with your friends, hey, I had this short little sweet time with Jesus today, and I just want to share this with you. And what that does is it really trains your brain to start paying attention to more of those gifts that God's given you.
So today we want to encourage you to do this, and why don't we do it live for them?
Sure.
Show them how it works. So we're just going to take a minute and reflect on something Jesus has given us, and just thinking about the good things that he's given us that we're aware of. So some of the good stuff. And I already got a few in my mind.
Yeah, so I would warm up thinking about our dog. We got a new dog. So I'm thinking about this puppy, Bella.
Isn't she cute? Oops.
She's a gift.
Yes.
So I think about this puppy and how she's always glad to be with me. Like anytime she sees me, she's looking for me, and she just loves a snuggle. So,
yes, she does.
And then I would, as I warm up with that, we would just say, well, Lord, is there a gift that you've given us lately? Is there something you'd like us to notice today? And then we just kind of pause and notice what comes to mind. And so for me, what comes to my mind is I love to see these little ducks that like to fly into our yard. And these ducks just kind of waddle into our yard. They don't have a care in the world. So that's the thought that comes into my mind, that that's just such a beautiful picture of God's creativity and how he brings those ducks across my path, that I can just sit here and watch them and just go, wow, God, that's very interesting, like how you made a duck. And they're just these very interesting creatures. But they bring a smile to my face and to my heart. And another thought that comes to my mind is just this time with my family, even though this is a very difficult time for the world, for our family and our society. But you know what? I just sense that even in the hard stuff, I sense that Jesus is saying, I've given you some really extended time with your family that you'll always cherish. So that's kind of a new thought. It's not something I'd really thought of too much before.
And I had a new thought too, which is, isn't it neat? I've been kind of overwhelmed by all this stuff, trying to help my kids do school, ministry work, all of these things, and it's just felt like too much. And God recently reminded me that I'm not necessarily taking advantage of the hands I have in the household. My boys are old enough to be helping more than they are. And this is an opportunity. This thought just came to me. This is an opportunity for them to be learning more life skills, to be helping with the laundry, to be helping learning to cook, to be helping lift some of those things off of me, and learning those life skills that we just don't often have time to focus on too much when they're at school a good chunk of the day. And so just the gift of that extra time and what we get to do with it.
You know, it was a gift for me just watching them clean the bathrooms today. So, hey, there we go. The joy just keeps on growing.
So you might be surprised at what gifts Jesus brings to your mind, even gifts that have come out of these hard times, things that wouldn't be here if we weren't in the midst of these hard times. And I would encourage you to just practice this, because when you practice is when it makes a difference. So take a few minutes and just see what Jesus has to tell you today.
Be pleasantly surprised, my friends.
Mm-hmm.